Hello, fellow Microsoft Teams educators. I wanted to create this video to show you how to take a daily agenda or your Bitmoji classroom and embed it into your Microsoft Teams class or team for your students to be able to access and see. So the first thing is, you have to have your PowerPoint, and it's as simple as getting the share URL as long as the PowerPoint is stored on OneDrive. So first I'm going to show you, I'm in the PowerPoint desktop app on a Windows computer. And so I can go to this top right-hand corner for my PowerPoint presentation. I can click share. The share dialog is going to open up. And I don't want the students to be able to edit this. I want them just to be able to view it. So I'm going to change this and not allow them to edit. Click apply. Now just anyone with a link can view this. And then I can simply copy this link right here. All right, and so this URL will allow someone to view this PowerPoint. So they could see, their agenda for today or reminders and homework, whatever you have. Maybe it's resources and links you want to provide to the students. So then when you come over to Microsoft Teams and you go to your particular class that you want to share this with, my suggestion is a number of ways you could share this. You could just do a post. You could put it as part of an assignment. My suggestion for something like the daily agenda would be to add it as a tab to your whatever channel you're working in. Maybe you have another channel, but I'm going to put it in the general channel here. So I can just click add a tab. And I'm just going to do this as a website. So this is just a web link. And so then you can give it a name. And you want to paste that URL. Now, we don't want the students to open this and see it as a normal PowerPoint presentation with the preview of all the slides on the left and, all the other controls. We just want them to see it as a presentation that they can interact with. So you need to add something to the end of this URL. Call these URL parameters. So it's at amp equals at action equals embed view. So this will show the PowerPoint in an embed view. I'm going to put this information in the description for the video, so you can go down there to see that. And then you can either post this to the channel that you've added this tab or not. I'm just not going to for now. And then I can click save. And now there's a tab daily agenda, and this is exactly how it will open up for students. So notice they can see this. Now what's great about it is I can update this, add slides, and it will continue to show this view. All right, and this is a live interactive view. So I'll show you a couple things in a minute about that. But what I want to show off quickly is that you can do the exact same process that I just did. So I have a file, I have a PowerPoint saved to OneDrive. I'm in the desktop program. I click share to get that URL. If you're using, PowerPoint Online or OneDrive Online, and you're in the web browser, let's say Google Chrome, you can do the same thing. I can click this little share icon on my file in OneDrive, and you're going to notice it looks very similar. It's almost the exact same dialog here. I can change that to be anyone with a link, and I can get that link. And I'm going to add the same parameters to the end, so it's just the embed view. Same thing if you open up this PowerPoint, you're editing it in PowerPoint Online instead of the desktop application. You're going to do the same thing. You're going to click share, and you're going to get that URL from over there and add those parameters on the end, and it will show up the same. So no matter if you're in the desktop version of a PowerPoint or if you're doing it in PowerPoint Online or from your OneDrive, you can share any file you have stored on OneDrive as a link, and then we can change that PowerPoint to be the embed view where it's like you were presenting the presentation for your students to interact with it. So again, what is really great about this, the way that we shared it, is if I am back in the desktop application, if I was to add something to this document, you notice it's saving up here. And once it fully saves to my OneDrive, if I go back to Microsoft Teams, it's going to automatically update. So You add this to your team one time, and every time you update the presentation, as long as it's the one saved on your OneDrive that you shared, it will automatically update in the team. So I've updated that. It says it's saving. Hopefully it has saved. If not, I'll go back and check quick. But obviously, students are going to reopen Teams or something like that. So if I navigate away from this panel and I go back to daily agenda, it's going to refresh. There's also a refresh button up here on the top right. So if students aren't seeing the most up-to-date one. And then notice the words I just typed updated, and they're now showing inside of the team. So when you change things, let's say you even make a mistake, that day, it will automatically update. This is a live view of that presentation without students having the ability to edit it. Another thing that you'll probably want to do very frequently with this, and is very common with these Bitmoji type classrooms and these daily agenda slide decks, is you may want to provide links for your students so that they can use this as a launching point for your lessons. So for example, let me go back to the actual PowerPoint document. I can go over and, let's say I want to add a link to a Nearpod lesson that I've created. If I throw in that link for students to be able to click on, this will actually be a clickable link inside of Teams also. So if I go over to Teams, and I have to refresh this view, so it does have to refresh once you update something. So I can click this refresh, or I can navigate away and come back. Let's just make sure it's saved. I wasn't making sure it's saved that time. All right, so I click the save button just to force it to save there. Going through, and notice we have that link. Notice when I hover my mouse over it, I can click this link, and it is clickable now. And it brings me to that Nearpod lesson. So anything you want to embed in there as links and so forth, you can do that right from this view. So anything you add to this is also clickable. Same thing with embedding videos and all those other fun things. So students can still see that. So let's go back over here, and of course you could, let's say you wanted to not have it be just the link here. You can make this look a little bit better too. So I can say open Nearpod lesson, and then I could make this a link, and it would work the same way. Put the address here, click OK. Now students can click on that. Now it looks a little bit better. They're not looking at that link. They can just click this Nearpod lesson, and it opens up. This, of course, is the same for any document. So if you want to share a document that you have on your OneDrive with students, I can do the same thing. I have this PDF on my OneDrive. I get the share link in a similar way I did with PowerPoint. I can put that in here, and it will allow them to click on that and open that up. So let's just look at that in Teams quick. I'm going to give this a refresh. Okay, notice the Nearpod lesson's clickable. This OneDrive link, again, I could have made this a more friendly looking URL, right? I could make it just text and link to it. But I can click on it and it opens up that link from the OneDrive also. So it's so students can see the document you're sharing with them. So whatever you want to share, links to websites, anything, embed some videos, all kinds of things you can set up here. So the last thing I want to do is just give you some design tips on working with this. I am going to provide this exact template. So let's say you wanted to, you really like this design I have here. You can work with that, but of course you can embed your own images. Maybe you want to change this calendar out for something else. All this is images with text boxes on top. So if you go around and you click around, you notice these are text boxes on top of images that allowed me to design this look. So let's say you open up my template to start off. One of the things you may want to do is, because you're going to want to customize this for your content area you teach, or your personality, your grade level, to make it look fun for them, is you may want to change the background. And I have this techie kind of looking background that I have. So if you right click on the slide, you can format the background and insert a new picture, either from a file you're going to upload. You can look at some stock images or online pictures. So you can do that, and you can change this background out. So let's look at some stock images, for instance. Let's say you really like this green background here. I can select that, and now that's updated as my background image. So maybe you like that better. Then any of these text boxes, colors and stuff like that, you can change those things out. Some things I do want to point out is this shape format is really helpful for some of the text boxes. So to open that, you just got to right click on a text box and you go down to Format Shape. And from there, you'll get this kind of dialogue. And this gives you some more helpful hints. Maybe you want to set this to have a certain color to the background of this, this text box. You can do that. Or sizing. For instance, I like to go down and I'd make it so the text box doesn't auto fit, so I can set the exact size and boundaries of it. So that's something you may want to go down and do that. But you can also fine tune the position and the size of the text box in here. So some really nice kind of effects. You want to add a shadow to it that you can really play around with and get this to look the way you want. Also some additional text options, setting things to be transparent, and some alignment things. So this format shape, again, any text box you add, right click on it, go down to format shape, and some really helpful things in there. The other thing I like to do is I group items together. So for instance, if I move this, you'll notice that those text boxes on top of the image of the phone actually move with it for the most part. That is, once you click on, you can click on multiple items and hold Control down to select multiple things. And when you do that, you can go over to picture format and you can group those items together. And if you group them together after you have them set up, if you need to move things around a little bit, they can all move as one piece, which is really helpful when you're adjusting things that you have set up. So that's another kind of helpful hint. A really cool thing that I added is on this little phone, the time actually updates every time a student looks at the slide. It will update with the current time. And so how I do that is you can actually insert into PowerPoint a date time box. And the date time box you can have update automatically so that it will update every time someone views that PowerPoint. So that's just a cool little thing that if you're adding something like maybe having a phone there or something like that, a little cool thing that some students may notice and get really excited about, that it updates the time automatically. So as a last thing, you may be wondering, like, how do you use this once you have it going? So you create your first day and that's cool. My suggestion is how I use this is I go over and let's say I'm ready for the next day. So this is the first day of school. Let's say you set it up for that. I'm going to go over and create the second day of school. Let's say it was, it says January. Obviously, that's not going to be the first day of school, but let's just pretend it is. Let's say it's January 2nd. Notice I copied, so I right-click, I copy the slide, and then I paste a new slide above this. So the most recent day is always the first slide, because that's what's going to show when the students open it up. So I go over, and of course, I can edit this, and you may want to keep like a master slide that is blank that you copy and paste all the time, and you can edit it. Test on Monday, whatever it is, reminders you want to add or something like that. And so now this is the new slide, and if I save this, and so let's say class has ended, I'm prepping for the next day on Teams. After I add that slide, that is now going to be the first slide that shows up. See, January 2nd now, test on Monday. So this keeps updating. And what I plan on doing, my suggestion is you just continue to add to this as the school year goes on, and students can actually navigate back to the other day's lessons. Let's say they're absent, they want to see the previous day's agenda and reminders. They can visit the daily agendas, click through, and always navigate backward. And as your school year builds, you have a nice record of everything that you did each day. And it's kind of a fun thing to look at later on. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this was really helpful for you. feel free to contact me. I'm going to leave my contact details in the description below also, and let me know if I can help in any way. Have a great day.